Now let's write a function that takes input from the keyboard and also combines strings. Here's an example. This function is supposed to get my name and then write it out. All right, so I write name. My name is Bill. That's my first name. My last name is Boyd. And it'll write out your name is Bill Boyd. So let's look and see how that worked. First of all, we still have the documentation, and I can see that at the top by typing Control-I. Okay, I'm use an input statement to get from the keyboard. Now I have to have a prompt so that the person will know what I want to be entered. So the input statement has a prompt as a string, enter your first name. You see it here. And then I typed in Bill, and it stored that in this variable called fname, F for first name. And then I asked for another input, and I asked for the last name. This time I stored it into a variable called lname for last name. Now I'll make the full name by taking the first name and concatenating it, or adding the string, a little blank to separate the first name from the last name, and then I'll add on to that the last name. So I've got the full name put together here, and then I'm going to print it together, print it out. Print your name is, and we'll print the full name. So what's new here is with the input statement and the concatenation or adding of strings. Now you try it. I want you to take the same function and add a couple of features to it. I want you to, in addition to getting your name, putting it together into a string and printing it, I want you to get the city that you live in and the state or nation that you live in, and write that out in the fashion that I've shown you here. Here's my run. Enter your first name, Bill. Enter your last name, Boyd. Enter the city you live in, Middletown. Enter the state you live in my case, Connecticut. Okay, your name is Bill Boyd. This is from the previous program example. And now you live in Middletown, and I put that Middletown down, Connecticut. And I made a longer string that has Middletown, Connecticut in it, but they're separated by a comma. So when you go and try and write this yourself, and then when you get through, press the continuation button, and I'll show you my example. Okay, here is my solution. I have documentation, if you like to see that. Input first and last name. This documentation is useful in that it gives you instructions as to what to do. Input first and last name, combine to one string and print. Also input the city and state and print. Now this is exactly what we had before. That's not new. But here's an input statement that gets the city. Here's an input statement that gets the state. And then I combine the city and state into one string, and that string has got comma space in the middle of it to separate city from state. Now I can print your name is and print you live in city state. Now you don't want to put this input statement after you've printed out the name, because then over here it wouldn't have collected all the data and then written out the result. It would have connected part of the data, written out part of the result, collected some more data and written out the rest of the result. That just wouldn't be couth.